Hi, welcome to another episode of Nick's Nerd Network. We are going to be finishing off our Generation 1 Pokemon I Have Strong Feelings About, Part 3. If you want a link to the other videos that are on the same topic, please check below. I'll have them linked there for Parts 1 and 2 of all of the Generation 1 Pokemon I feel very strongly about. Now, Blastoise was a pretty impactful Pokemon for me, and it was kind of indirectly. My brother, when he was playing the games, he chose Squirtle as his starter, and Blastoise was pretty cool. I mean, me having a Charizard, it was pretty much the bane of my existence every freaking time we battled, but it was still a pretty cool Pokemon. And as my brother started playing the games, he kind of lost interest. It really wasn't his thing, so sometimes I would help him with his game, and this was way back before there was like a lot of guides and things on how to play Pokemon online. You kind of relied on rumors and magazines and buying like actual paperback guides. And there was this huge rumor that if you got a Pokemon to level 100, then it would turn back into its starter self and start all the way back over at level 1. And my brother loved Squirtle so much more than Blastoise, so we worked and worked hard. We took turns. We were battling the Pokemon League over and over again. And Blastoise was the very first Pokemon we ever got as a team to level 100. And you know what happened? It stopped. It just stopped at level 100. And we didn't know that that was going to be the case. I think we were in like 4th or 5th grade at the time. And it was just kind of sad and upsetting. And it was just one of those Pokemon folk legends. Not folk legends, but I guess like rumors or I don't know. But it was a little disappointing, but he was our first level 100 Pokemon, and it's pretty cool. Now, another Pokemon that's really impactful for me is Charmander. Charmander was such a great starter Pokemon. He ended up being my second choice starter, if you've heard my Bulbasaur story before. And one of the ways he was really impactful for me is actually in the anime. When I watched the anime when Ash first finds his first Charmander, it was honestly a little bit traumatizing, seeing that poor little Charmander, his light was about to go out, and he was out dying, he was abandoned. Like, it really made me like feel sad for Pokemon, and I really started to think about Pokemon mortality, and it was pretty traumatizing. But he got a good home, and I've loved Charmander since, and he's just such a great Pokemon. Now let's talk about Vulpix. Vulpix, now it's not really Vulpix's fault I have this kind of frustration with it, and the reason why is back in the Generation 1 games, the original Red and Blue games, all of the mini sprites that you would see when you're looking at Pokemon or trading them were tiny little similar looking things. There's maybe like 4 or 5 different types. And it had a similar sprite to a very famous legendary Pokemon called Mewtwo. And my brother tricked me at one point. We were trading Pokemon and he named his Vulpix Mewtwo and traded it to me in exchange in the games and tried to trick me. So, a little bit bitter about that. It's not really Vulpix's fault, but it's a really strong memory that I have about that Pokemon. Now, another Pokemon I want to talk about is Machop, and I have some conflicted feelings about Machop. Machop specifically, I'm not talking about the line, we've talked about trait evolution. Now, my conflicting feelings about Machop is a really, really good thing about him is Machop was the very first shiny Pokemon I ever caught. In my Pokemon Sapphire game, I actually almost didn't even notice. I wasn't fully paying attention, I was just grinding up in one of the tunnels, and I came across it, and I caught it. First ever shiny. I don't count Red Gyarados because that's usually everyone's first shiny, so it was kind of a given. But this was my first, like, pure, caught it on my own shiny, and it was so special. And honestly, I went probably close to, like, 5 or 6, 7 years of my life never catching a shiny on my own, and it was pretty amazing. Now, the downside to my feelings about Machop is I was a little bit bitter. Now, the same cousin I talked about in my Charmander / Bulbasaur story, and the same brother that I talked about in some of my other growing up game stories, I was really frustrated because my cousin would trade him special Pokemon to help him out in the game. Like, granted, he was younger, but I was a little bit frustrated. So to help him with, like, gyms and get further in the game, she would trade him higher level Pokemon that he could kind of use to cheat his way through the game. And Machop was one of them. I was so frustrated. I was all the way back in, I don't even remember what town. Probably the Bug Forest, Route 1. No, I can't remember I'm really bad at remembering the routes. But all the way back in the Bug Forest with the Caterpies and all of that. And fighting my way through, and she just trades him a Machop. Did I get anything? No. I was super frustrated. I mean, I probably don't hold any hard feelings, or I'm not constantly thinking about it every waking moment of every day. But whatever, I'm over it probably, maybe, who knows. Now, I have some strong feelings about Venomoth, and no, it's not about the conspiracy theory that Butterfrees and Venomoths were switched in the programming of the game, and Venomoth is actually supposed to be an evolution of Metapod. No, my actual strong feelings of this was the first Pokemon that ever, I guess, kind of died for me. Me and my brother were trying to trade Pokemon. I don't quite remember what I was trading to him, but he was trading me his Venomoth so it would complete an entry in my Pokedex. I was trading him something that would complete an entry in his Pokedex. And if you remember back in the early days, those of you who are Gen 1ers, I guess, you had to link your Game Boys together with a cord. There was none of this, like, online witchcraft and wizardry. You had to connect by a cord and be in the same room. And we were fighting or playing, or I don't remember exactly what happened, and the cord got disconnected mid-trade, and that Butterfree was gone. And we actually found out this was a trick to clone Pokemon, so it cloned the Pokemon I sent over, but my brother's Butterfree was lost forever, and we were actually really sad and upset about it, because to us, this this Venomoth died. It disappeared, it was gone forever, and it was really upsetting. Time for another segment of Who's That Waste of Space? And today, our nomination for Who's That Waste of Space is Farfetch'd. Farfetch'd? Oh, Farfetch'd. I feel so bad for you. You know the sad thing about Farfetch'd? I did not actually know its actual name until probably like 6 or 7 or 8 years later. I thought its name was Dukes, which was the name of the Farfetch'd that you get when you trade it in the Pokemon Red and Blue games. Now, my brother actually raised a Farfetch'd on his team. It would explain why he wasn't the best at the game and had a really hard time beating the Pokemon League. And the thing about Farfetch'd is he's a normal flying type. Could we have run into any other normal flying types earlier on in the game that were much stronger? I mean, I never really used a Spearow, but Pidgey was a pretty common Pokemon to use on your team. And Farfetch'd, its main thing was like, it was a Pokemon that almost went extinct because people kept eating it. I mean, honestly, it probably has more value as a side dish or an entree than it does as a Pokemon. If you disagree with me, you can take it up in the comments section. I don't care. It's Farfetch'd. Alright, that concludes this series on Generation 1 Pokemon that I feel strongly about, our Rants and Raves session. If you're interested in more videos like this, please comment down below, give us some feedback, like and subscribe, and maybe I'll make a video series about Generation 2 Pokemon and so on and so forth. Until then, this is Nick signing off. Bye! It's promotion time! Hey guys, it's Tommy, the Green Ranger here, and I have a special message for my friend Nick. Go to my channel and subscribe. Go to my channel and subscribe. Go to my channel. Watch more videos on my channels. Go.